Hi, my name's Dr. Amir Khan. I'm an NHS GP, but I'm also a massive bird enthusiast and I love feeding birds in the garden. I'm really lucky round here where I live. We get bullfinches, greenfinches, goldfinches, siskins, we get robins and blackbirds, blue tits, great tits, long-tailed tits, you know, it's just fantastic. And the reason we get them is because I offer them such a variety of food. It's a bit like a restaurant, so I'm going to talk you through the menu. So the first thing I put out are these coconut suet halves, which are full of seeds and fat, which is really good for them, particularly over the colder months. It will keep them warm, help them survive those colder winter nights. The kind of birds that love this in particular are blue tits and great tits. Starlings like them as well, but we also get clusters of long-tailed tits, which are just the cutest things. Right, come with me. Now, over here, this is my pièce de résistance. I've had this big wooden structure built to hang bird feeders off, and it's really important. The location of your bird feeders are really important as well. As you can see, I've put this by lots of plants, a big tree in the background there, some shrubs over there, and that is because birds have predators. Little birds have predators. We get the occasional sparrowhawk here too, and it's important that birds can perch somewhere safe, assess the area before coming down to feed, and if there is a predator around, they can dart back in to the branches and foliage where they feel safer. So think about where you're positioning your bird feeders. Now, I have got such a variety of food here. So I've got some suet balls there. These are Niger seeds. The goldfinches in particular really like these. Now, if you want a good all-rounder, sunflower hearts are brilliant because they attract all manner of finches, blue tits and great tits, and they are full of essential oils and fats, which again will keep the birds healthy and well during those winter months. I've got some more Niger seeds over there. In that one there, it's a bit of a funny one. I've got some cotton wool because particularly over spring, they like to get some soft material and build their nest. So I like to just give them that option there. Over here, you can see I've got some dried mealworms. Now, starlings love that, but blue tits and great tits love it. And when they fall on the floor, the robins will eat them as well. So it's really, really important. And then back there, I've got some peanuts as well, which are great, again, for great tits and blue tits. But I'm really lucky, we get the occasional woodpecker. Right, down here now. So, storing your bird food is really important because you don't want to attract rodents. You don't want to keep them in bags where rats or mice can chew the way through. So I keep them in these big plastic containers. I put the lids over them, and it's a really organized way to do it. So this is my peanut feeder, and I'm just going to fill it up with some peanuts. Now these are peanuts that are specially for birds. They're not the kind of peanuts that you or I eat. They're not got any salt in, and they're safe for birds to eat. Now, when you are feeding birds peanuts, and again, they are full of essential fats and oils and protein, which is really good for the birds, make sure you put them in a special peanut feeder. Because you don't want birds to be able to take out a whole peanut because they can choke on that. You just want them to peck on it a little bit, and then it's safer for them to eat. My feeders are all weighted, so if anything heavy gets on that, it will close, so squirrels can't get in there. I have a separate feeding area for squirrels. They don't listen to me, they still try and go to the bird area, but the squirrels have their own area over there in the garden. But that's a whole nother video. Right, well, let's put this back up here. So the peanuts I've put kind of really into the trees because the woodpecker that comes is really shy, and so it likes to be in the foliage and feel really safe. So that's why that's placed over there. Now, one of the most important things to do as well as feed the birds is to give them fresh water. So I put fresh water out almost every day for the birds. I've got some low down here for things like blackbirds. I like to drink off the floor, and then higher up over here where they can take a bath and drink as well. The finches really like that one. And in the springtime, we get lots of starlings that come and feed off there. Now, feeding birds is great. It's lovely to see them. It's great for our mental health. It helps release our neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine when we see nature, particularly birds, and that calms us down, it relaxes us, especially during this time in COVID. Nature has that effect on us, but it's also a responsibility. So if you are going to feed birds, remember, it's important to clean the bird feeders as well, because unfortunately birds can catch diseases of dirty bird feeders. Finches in particular are really susceptible to fungal infections, so I'm going to show you how I clean my feeders. Now, it's a dirty job, so stick on a pair of gloves. There we go. I've taken my feeder apart. I've just got some warm water with a bit of soap in and some brushes. So just going to dip that in there, get it all nice and wet, and really give it a good scrub. This is so important for healthy birds, because we're feeding birds because we love them, and we need to keep them healthy because we love them as well. I know it's not very glamorous, but it's got to be done. To get into the nooks and crannies, I use toothbrush. My mum will be proud of this. And that really just helps. And I've got this specially designed bird feeding spray which cleans and sanitizes the feeders. And I just like to spray it, and it just gets rid of any bugs that might be lingering, waiting to infect the little birds. Once I've got everything off, I just let it air dry. It's not easy, but it's important. So we'll let that air dry now. Now, the other thing to remember is that birds can be quite territorial, and even though I've got a lot of my feeders over there, I've spread some around. So I've got one over here as well, just hidden away in this corner, because if you see finches, even though there's loads of feeders up there and they're spoilt for choice, they still fight over them. So I like to give them options, and I've got some on the other end in our front garden as well. So that is how I feed the birds. Make sure if you're feeding them over autumn and winter time that you've got seeds that are full of fat and protein. You give them options because they don't like to have just the one thing, same as you and I. And honestly, it is so satisfying. I really enjoy it. It makes my garden come alive.